Okay, howdy folks, welcome back. So here we are, January 12th of 2023, and you can see we've had a few CMEs here, and one coming off the top, one over here on the side, and then this big one coming off here. So one off the top, a little bit over here, this, and then this big one over here that comes out at the end. Boom. Alright, so while you're watching that, something else I want you to take note of is watch how these little spikes. So we're going to start over. Watch how these spikes flicker. They dimmed right there. They brighten up and dim again. And then there's the big CME. So they're nice and bright. They dim. They brighten up and dim again. And then there's CME. So it's almost as if there was a CME on the backside or something as this object approached. It dimmed the sun a little bit there. So we'll start going through this frame by frame here in a sec. Just let this loop play one more time. Okay, so now let's slide it up and pause it. Alright. So we're going to focus on this CME right here. And here you can see it erupting from behind the occulter here. And look how much plasma it has taken with it. It has built up. So boom, there's the next frame. Alright, now it skips a couple frames. It went from 2336, it should go, or 2236, it should go to 2248, and then 2300, but it skips to 2312. So we're missing 3 frames of this developing event here. But in this frame here, and I think you might be able to make it out, is this dark round patch right here. Okay, I believe this is our object right here, finally emerging from the plasma. It has some out in front of it right here. It has a bunch of it behind it that it's taking out with it. It appears there might be something a secondary up there. But over on this side, you'll make out we have our big, huge dent right here in this red line. And here's our object. So we're going to go start zooming in on this for you guys. Pull it up a little bit. And now you can make out this dark patch right here in amongst all this plasma. This is our big round object right in here. And here it's made this huge dent in the red line right here. Okay, it's behind the main blue line. So this red line is, look how they cross right here. This one's reading the CME coming out like this, but then all of a sudden it takes this huge dent and goes back across the blue line, back behind it, and then doubles back out again. All right, so there's a big object right here that's making this huge dent in that. And then we'll come over to the red side here. Even though my camera doesn't pick it up too well, we're going to attempt it anyway because yeah, you can make out this nice dark round patch right here. This is all plasma that came off. Why is there a dark patch here? Well, that's where our object is. And this one's a significant size because it caused quite a good size CME there. Okay. So we'll go to the next frame. And you can see it kind of exiting the frame here. Let's zoom out just a tad bit there so we can see both sides at the same time. Over here you can make out, boom, right here is our nice round object with a bit of plasma still in the front of it. You can see there's just a little ghost of plasma around the front side of it. But here's our big round object right in here. Okay? And then as we go to the next frame, I take this out of the way. Oops. Alright, let's back up a frame or two. So there it is. See, we're missing frames. I wish we had these missing frames right here because it probably shows a lot. Let me back out so you can see the red side as well. Let's scroll down. So we'll back up. Boom. Right here is our object, right there, making this huge dent in the red line right there. So, boom, boom, Okay, now as we start over here again at the first frame, let's back out of here a little bit. Let's back up. All right, here we are, first frame, 024, okay? And what I want you to take note of is these these bright patches as we progress forward. So we're going forward here a few frames. All right, our first CME comes off the top right here. You can see our instrument reacting to it over on this side. Let's scoot it down a little bit. Okay, so there's our first CME going off the top right here. Hard to tell if there's something in there, but that one's, it has a nice round bubble shape to it, so there's some kind of magnetic field. That might be our central core object right here. Let's just zoom in real quick on this one too while we're here, because I see something round right here in the middle of this big bubble. Not right in the middle, but centralized kind of right there is our little object, I believe. Let's go in just a tad bit tighter and take that out of the way. Let's try it one more time. Back it up a frame, a couple frames, and you can see it looks like some kind of object there emerging and causing that CME off the top. Okay, then, okay, back to this. So, as that CME leaves the top, now look how bright that area is right there. Okay, we're going forward through. We have a small little one over here, a little burst. And then, did you see that? Look how, let's scroll up here a little bit because I want you to notice these times. Okay, at 1412, it's nice and bright. This patch is nice and bright. This one's nice and bright. And then 30 minutes later, it's all dim. We're missing a frame there, but it went from that bright to that dim within half an hour. Okay, there's a couple of frames where it's dim. But then it brightens back up again. So we went here from 1812, where it has dimmed, to 1824. Within 12 minutes, it went from this and brightened back up again. Then it dims again. Look at this. From 1848, it went from bright 12 minutes later to dim again at 1900. Then it stays dim. And then we have our CME. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit faster. There goes the one off the top. Okay, stays nice and bright for a minute. It dims, brightens back up, dims, and then we have our CME. So the sun also flickered. It got bright and dimmed and then got bright again. So it had a little flicker in it too. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back into motion now and just watch the sun flicker and then the CME. Okay, so there's some madness going on in the sun. I mean, this is some crazy stuff. I'm always reporting on something different. It's not like there's just the same event over and over. It's always something different now. So for a while there, we weren't seeing these objects. We were having X flares with no CMEs. Now we're back to CMEs that don't even register as an X flare or a flare at all, yet they put out all this plasma and a huge object caught in it. So there's that. And see how the sun flickered there right before that event? So here's the beginning again. It dims, brightens up and dims, and then our CME. Okay, so there's that on the sun. Now let's go over here to this. And here's our X-ray, our solar X-ray flux that's been going crazy lately. So let's just zoom in on this for you guys real quick so you can see. Here it went up just the regular background noise is almost at an M class. So our solar flux almost reached M class level without even a flare or a CME. Then it drops off a little bit, and we have that event that was an M class flare right here. And then it's tapered off since. So let's go back down here. Our M class was a 3.1. This one right here was a 3.1 today. And let's go over to this real quick, because let's even zoom in on that too. Okay, here we are at the end little spiral. Yours is a little yellow dot right here. There goes our CME off this way. All right, and if you look at this one, you can see we catch just a little side of it. And over here, watch when it comes by. Boom, we catch a little glancing blow from this CME, from that object in its magnetic field. So this time, instead of going behind us and below us, this object is going to go right in front of us and about equal distance. I think it's going to be almost parallel with our equator. So we're going to see even more crazy weather effects, and you guys. And I know California's been getting creamed right now. So, and what else was there here? Oh, okay, we'll just back out of that anyway. And we'll go over here. Go to the GFS model. Tropical tidbits. All right. Here's our GFS model. Cool. Looks like the date's in there. Okay, here's our time and date up here, January 12th. This is our current activity right here. We had some tornadoes and stuff in Alabama today from this system moving through. So now I'm going to put it into play and whoops. Hang on before I do that. Let me just pick your spot in the country and watch it. Whoops. I'm going to leave the date right there so you guys can see the date. Okay, let that play for a second. The West Coast again is getting hammered. Some of these storms actually come across and do some activity here again in Alabama and in the South. That was back on the 21st, it looked like. So it looks like you guys are going to be in for another round here pretty soon. Now we got a little break on the West Coast, it looks like here. Here's our next run. All right, boom, there's one right there and a second one for Northern California. And then this one's pretty big too. So they're already inundated with water. You got a couple more coming, I would expect. I heard there was a closure on the Coast Highway of Oregon, and I would expect more closures along this coastal highway. Any communities along this coast ought to brace or maybe even evacuate and, get out of there. The people in the Central Valley expect some flooding, so there's going to be landslides and stuff in the mountains, closing roads, washing out bridges. So I suggest you guys get your supplies during these little breaks in between storms, or if you can, get out of that area, go visit family in another state for a week or something, and till you can, till things have cleared up and you can return, because this is not looking good. But we do have a little break here, which is good. That's what this is forecasting, but this is all subject to change as well. So, but here we go with a couple more impulses, a couple more storms, this atmospheric river hitting the West Coast a few more times. And then you can see over here these storms as they come across, they're affecting the East Coast and stuff as well. So you guys have your head on a swivel, get stocked up, be ready, because at any moment this stuff could just go catastrophic. So I just thought I'd bring this to you and let you guys know that things are getting crazy. So that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next video, bye.